Hi guys, ASU lost the college football playoff. I lost a bet I had on ASU. People have lost cats, people have lost cars, and now with the fires in California, people are losing their homes. Let's hear about what people have lost.
I wasn't sure how to deal with this, so I figured I would do what everybody does nowadays, document it and put it on TikTok. I was in Florida and my talented cat, Callie, who was the star of Psycho Kitty, died when I was in Florida. And we're picking up her body to bury her on our property next to the other beloved pets. Pet cemetery. I didn't think today would be a pet cemetery day, but here we are. But yeah, we're driving, what is it, the Chino Valley Animal Hospital? Animal Hospital.
Sometimes you have to put a pet down. That is the worst feeling, and some of you guys are extremely close to your pets. God bless your pets. Hopefully they're in heaven.
Coming here because I really don't know what else to do or where to go because I've done all the things that I can do for right now. And I'm just kind of in a limbo. My car got repossessed today, and I do Instacart and DoorDash, so I kind of needed that. I've been applying for physical jobs for the last year and a half, and I could barely get an interview, so that's been out of the picture for a while. If anyone can help me, that would be super fantastic, but obviously I know everyone's struggling right now. I make tons of cool art. Like, this is what I'm working on right now. I can make you stuff if you live in the Washington area. I can find a way somewhere so I can get to you, and I can clean. I need that car.
If you've ever had a car repossessed, I imagine that's horrible. I have not had a car repossessed, but I have had in-laws that have done voluntary repossessions. From what I understand, they could still potentially send you a bill for the balance after they try selling that car. So,
Good morning. So I just woke up to my car being repossessed. My car is gone. I am at a motel. I have one more night, and I woke up and my car is gone. All my stuff is in it. I have one duffel bag and a pillow and some bathroom stuff, and I need to locate my items. You know what though, the greatest thing is God told me to get on here because I need your prayer. I need prayer. I need prayers from everyone because I know how powerful they are, and that I need you guys right now.
you know, a lot of times on Facebook, we see people and they're happy and smiling, and they've got a pickup truck behind them, and they've got a beautiful kitchen behind them in their own home. And you don't know that there's a lot of people out there that are going through really tough times. Very, very sad.
But God told me to get on because I am not freaking out. The old me would have been sobbing my eyes out, not knowing what to do right now. And honestly, I'm okay. I'm okay because I know God has already made a way. And Jesus walked the earth. I mean, God's got me. God's got a place. That's why I look like a hot mess right now. I haven't showered. I just woke up, looked out the window, and I was like, okay. My transportation's gone. My roller skates, my shoes, my bin full of all the baby pictures of my kids, and every item I owned was in that car. And it's gonna be okay. God's told me it's gonna be okay. And, you know, my lovely daughter offered me a ride if I need to get my stuff or if I just need a ride. Although I don't know where I'm going to get a ride to at this point. And I'm okay. Somehow I am okay.
So let's say you're an adult and that's your mom, No matter how much you don't want to live with your folks or you don't want to live with your kids, I don't think I could let my mom be homeless. Do you guys agree with me down below? This is a sad one. Let's see how it finishes out.
There's a little part of me that's like, I'm super uncomfortable right now.
Right?
But all I can do is trust in God. I know God has made a way. I know, I mean, look at this last time. I was stuck in Tulsa and you guys came through your obedience, through your faith in God. God had this worked out because he knew your hearts. So here I am, another faith spot. I gotta trust God. I gotta trust God. And this is just encouragement for you. I don't know what you're facing today. I had a great night's sleep, and waking up to that was completely unexpected. So, whatever you're facing, no matter how difficult, it's gonna be okay.
Sounds to me like she asked her fans and her fans came through with some money.
Today I wanted to talk about what I miss the most about my husband. I know I've talked on here before about everything breaking and missing his handiwork, and I've had a lot of criticism along the lines of, oh, you only miss him, now he's gone, you didn't appreciate everything that he did for you prior, or now you realise how much he did. And that isn't the case. I don't need to justify myself to those people, but my husband and I were a great team and we worked together on everything. I might not have been very practically minded, but I'd be there fetching him what he needed, supplying him with tea, coffee or beer, and helping with anything that I could. Something
Let's break that apart real quick. So she was talking about how she missed how her husband was handy. And apparently some comments, the people told her like, "Oh, that's the only reason you missed him, you BIT, right?" And she was saying, "No, no, as a matter of fact, that was his strong suit, and my strong suit was being a good teammate for him." And I think there's some merit to what she's saying. A lot of times people look at relationships now as in, what are you going to do for me? This is what I'm going to bring to the table. What are you bringing to the table? But I think the successful marriages are the ones where they say, hey, this is our team. We're going to make it work as a team through thick and thin.
thing I really miss is affection, cuddles, and just that feeling of somebody loving you unconditionally.
Aw.
And my husband adored me, I know he did. And just having somebody at the end of the phone to tell everything to. So, yeah, you have your friends, but with your husband, they know everything about you inside and out. So it's having that person to, oh, guess what? Or, oh my God, you're never going to believe what's just happened. Or, I'm so angry. Or, I'm so happy. And just having that person there as your constant 24 hours, 7 days a week. I really miss, as I said, I miss the cuddles and the affection. I miss the companionship. I miss somebody to bounce off of. With the girls, it's hard becoming then a single parent family. You have no backup. So you have nobody to say, no, your mum's right, or somebody else to help you enforce something that they might not like.
That's a good point.
Just being a team, like Simon and I did everything together. We'd do the food shopping together. If we had to pick the girls up from somewhere, we would go together. We just were an amazing team.
I think that's why I like sports. I love the idea of people coming together and being more as a team than they are as individual parts. I love what she said there. I think her and her husband probably were a spectacular team. Bravo to couples out there.
Andrew, please, please, please call me back. I just saw on Facebook that a motorcyclist was killed in Holly Springs coming back towards Fuquay. And I'm praying to God it's not you, because I haven't heard from you in hours.
Oh my
Please call me
God.
back.
Okay, so on the screen it says the last voicemail I ever left him, deep down I knew he was already gone. Could you imagine hearing a report of a motorcyclist, losing their life, and it's somewhere close to your home, and you're trying to reach your significant other and they are not answering, and you've just got that worst feeling, and then all of a sudden you find out that your feeling that you had was true? Absolute nightmare.
Nobody talks about the pain that comes with losing a partner through the extreme loss,
Well, let's talk about it. Leave comments.
death. And although it's been a few years, his birthday is coming up. And I still think about it, about his laugh. And although it was just for a moment, I will never forget how grateful I am to still be here and get to remember.
I was watching some videos to get to these ones that I'm sharing you, and I was amazed at how many women and men that were in their, it looked like 30s, that had already lost a partner. If you know of any friend or even yourself and you lost a partner at a young age, let us know down in the comments. That has just got to be devastating.
I lost my wife and I found peace.
Hey!
Those who know, they know I didn't want to leave my wife. In fact, I was forced to walk away from my wife. And looking back at it, it's actually more of a blessing that I did walk away. Now, I wasn't the perfect husband. Had my flaws, I made my mistakes, but I gave this lady everything and did everything I possibly could to make her happy, and it just wasn't good enough. And now that I'm back to living on my own, I get to leave and go to work and not having to worry about what's being done behind my back.
That is the worst. Sometimes when there's a great loss in your life, you end up finding out it was a blessing in disguise. I'm sure we've all had moments like that where you lose something and you realize you're gaining something by that loss. Poor guy. At least he's happy.
One of the best ways to heal from a grief experience, in my case I lost my wife 3.5 years ago, is purging, letting go of the things that connected you to them. I know that sounds like a kind of harsh thing, and just do it in your timing. I'm going to say this: the longer you hold on to those things, the longer your journey of healing is going to be. It doesn't mean you don't love them, because that love that's never going to end. But the way that you manage your life going forward, that has to change.
Yeah.
And for you to grow, you have to get rid of what's holding you from moving forward, or being present, because you're not being present when you're holding on to all that stuff.
True.
And again, it's in your timing, but I'm going to tell you, as a word of advice, the sooner you can part with the things that remind you of them, that are not really important, old clothes or jewelry, or get rid of it whenever you can, as soon as you can.
Okay, so that's a good question there. I would think that you would want to keep certain items, but I agree with him when it comes to clothing, perfumes, jewelry, this, that, and the other. I'm thinking you probably want to get rid of some of that stuff, but I definitely want to know your thoughts below. I think that's good advice. Keep some stuff, though.
One thing people don't understand about narcissistic individuals is that they all come in different levels. You have low-level narcissists, you have high-level narcissists. The range is absolutely not the same for everyone. And the last person that I was with and I was married with, the person that I had kids with, they were a very highly intelligent, narcissistic person, and that's all I'll say about that. And I'll give you an example. The first time I got to see my kids, I had to drive out to Colorado to see them, and the thing was is she was the one that took them here on vacation and said that, you know, hey, we're just here for vacation, but then she enrolled them in school and did all this stuff, and it was absolutely catastrophically ridiculous, but the courts let the kids stay here. So anyway, the first weekend I was trying to come see the kids because I hadn't seen them for a while and I really wanted to see them. I had to sign an agreement basically basically saying that I would only see them 2 nights or 2 days out of the week, and I got no overnights or anything like that. And that was the only condition I had to sign. I had to sign that in order to see my kids. Well, I had already driven 10 hours, and I was desperate to see my kids, so I signed this agreement. When I signed that agreement, her lawyer took that and filed it with the courts and said this is what's going on moving forward. So essentially, I only got to see my kids like 2 weekends out of the month, and I didn't get any overnights. I was basically treated like a deadbeat dad. And that was the first custody agreement that we had. Not only that, but because of that agreement that I signed and I had no idea, I thought it was just for that weekend, I had to pay $3,000 a month in child support.
Ouch, that's so tough, but I agree with what he said. Imagine seeing your child every day of the year, and then all of a sudden you see them every other weekend and, maybe a day or two during the month. That is crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, but that is sad.
So I have a lot of people asking me, how did you lose custody? Because moms don't lose custody, right? I have no drugs or alcohol problem. I have no mental health issues. What I have is a really bad situation. Bad luck. Horrible luck, maybe. Whatever you want to say about it, this is what happened, is that my ex staged a false assault so he could get the upper hand in family court, and he did.
So in the movies, when the guy or the girl punches themselves in the face, it worked this time. She does have bad luck.
A year ago, I lost my home. Ever since, I have been on an epic journey looking for my new home. After a year, I finally found it.
Okay, question. Do you think that she was one of the cats or that human?
Hey guys, so I lost my house today. I was asked to leave by the landlord. I never did anything wrong. I was always quiet. I was just asked to leave.
You were a little too
Didn't even
quiet.
get a notice. Well, technically I did get a notice. She sent me a certified letter in the mail, and I hardly ever check my mailbox. What's funny about that is we were actually talking all month because I got this rental assistance through the THDA. It's like a Tennessee government organization that actually pays for your rent.
Nice.
So I was paying rent, and I was getting her transferred to the actual landlord so they could send her a check because I got offered to get more rental assistance, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. I'll take rent assistance because I'm out here struggling. It's $1,200 a month. I'm a single parent. My son's mom does not help. She does not pitch in. She's a deadbeat who will not even pay child support. I don't know where she lives. So it's just me out here. I've spent all day and night trying to get stuff in that U-Haul right there.
So what would you guys do in that situation? You're a single parent and all of a sudden you're looking at U-Hauls to put your stuff in and you don't have anywhere to go. That is a huge bummer. But let's talk about it. Why don't you guys go get your shoes? Come with me. Let's go for a walk. What are you guys doing? So I was just watching a video and they were describing how I guess Governor Newsom and the mayor of California, the mayor is out in Ghana somewhere. Governor Newsom, I think they said, was on vacation, but then again, it might just be the mayor that's gone. I'm not 100% sure, but what I am sure of is they were saying that they arrested 20 looters for going into these burned out neighborhoods before the fire gets to the homes, and they're breaking in and stealing stuff from people. It just goes to show you that when people are down on their luck and having the worst day of their lives, people will take advantage of them, because that's the type of people that many of us Americans have become. And in California, it's just like green light for bad people to do bad things. So they had the authorities up there basically saying, hey, we're going to prosecute you to the full extent of the law. And if you can imagine, all the comments in the comment section were basically poking fun on, how the criminals are probably going to get off with a slap on the wrist. And it's just really, really disappointing. I don't know why people vote the way they do, but I can tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to make a prediction, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. The property value in Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, it's all going to go up because these people are never going to go back to their home in the Palisades. Instead, they're going to take their millions of dollars that they still have in the bank, and they're going to get out of California. And instead of doing the right thing, which is to say, I'm never voting for those type of people again, they're going to come to states like Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Oregon, Washington, and they're going to buy houses for top dollar, raising all the property values and the taxes, and then they're going to vote for the same darn people that put them in that horrible situation. I saw multiple videos where they literally showed firefighters throwing their hands in the air. Why? Because their fire hydrants didn't have any water. Because instead of being a leader, the leaders of California do anything but lead. It's almost like it's a big fashion show with which leader has the nicest car and the nicest suit and the snazziest hairstyle. And I just don't know why people in this country vote for these people. I think what people ought to do is, if you live in California, I think you ought to just grin and bear it and stay in California. And if you're going to vote for those type of people, you ought to live there and just stay there. Because I think it's irritating when states that are traditionally red like mine all of a sudden are listed as purple, when really it's not native Arizonans that feel this way. It's Californians and people from Illinois and people from New York that settle here, and they bring those goofy politics with them. I don't want to choose trees over people. I don't want to choose pets over people. I want to choose people first, victims first. I don't want to choose criminals first. I'm tired of everything that's out of California, and I'm telling you what this country ought to do is we ought to wise up, and we ought to quit taking our tourist dollars to places like California and New York. We really ought to. We are actually part of the reason that it's shitville out there. Some way, somehow, back in the day, when songs like I Love LA, back then LA was a magical place that had some pollution and crime problems. Now LA is not even a beautiful place anymore. It is ugly in every way, shape, or form. And I just don't know why we as people can't boycott that state. If you want Disneyland to be available to all people, quit going to Disneyland. That's how you get the prices down. Does anybody think it's crazy that for a family of 4 to go out to Disneyland, you're probably looking at $3,000 or $4,000 just to go to basically a theme park? Ridiculous. The best way to make Disneyland affordable is for people to stop going. God dang, I hear that guy on that little motorbike every day. He loves that thing. If I bought a motorbike for one of my family members, I would want them to be riding it all the time like that kid. So good for him. Enjoy your gifts, enjoy your toys. And you guys should read the comments. Everybody in the country just literally makes fun of California. And I don't blame them at all. They were literally making the most empty threats. They're like, hey, we've already arrested 20 looters. That means they probably didn't catch the other 100 looters that were probably there. The National Guard is available for the LAPD and the LA County Sheriff's Office to take advantage of. But again, will they do it? Probably not. There's no water for the firemen to fight the battle. Now, is that really a major problem that I'm going to put on the governor and mayor? If what Donald Trump says is true, that they chose some sort of fish rather than maintaining the water, then yeah, I guess you could blame the governor. But here's the thing. Usually the city and state water supply is designed to help everybody have drinks and everybody be able to take a shower and have running water. It's not so that you have an endless water supply to stop a raging fire. And by the way, from what I hear, it's not just like one fire. It sounds like it's 5 fires that are all combining to make this gigantic, horrible problem. One of the teachers that I work with sent me a picture from just outside of her front door, looking off into the horizon. Guys, you should see how dark these clouds are. They're literally breathing toxic smoke. So far, 180,000 people have been evacuated, and there's another 200,000 that are under evacuation warnings. Hochman, the new DA or whatever, he promises maximum punishment for people that loot. Here's the weird thing. I was asking myself, is it scummy that people are going in there and stealing stuff? Yes. But there's a piece of me that says, well, my gosh, if they don't steal that stuff, the fire is just going to consume it all. But at the same time, as a human being, you would almost rather have the fire consume your stuff than knowing some criminal or crook is just trying to take advantage of the situation, you know? Very, very disheartening. Could you imagine if you go on eBay or something and you ended up seeing a picture of your mementos and stuff that you thought burned up in a fire? What would you do if you went on eBay or on Amazon and found out that somebody had stolen that and was now selling it online? Wouldn't that be the absolute worst? But I'm sure that happens every day. That's the thing that's so kind of crappy about our country. There is no good day in the future where that stuff's not going to happen. It's always going to happen. It's just a bummer that all these stories always come out of places like Chicago and LA and New York and Houston and Philly. I guess that's just the way it is. So I wrote down what the sheriff that was speaking at the news conference said. He said, if you are in one of these burned down areas, you will be arrested and you will be in trouble if you are found looting. There's been 20 arrests made so far. No unauthorized vehicles or people are allowed. Again, that's telling the people that listen to the rules and obey the laws, that's telling them not to go, and they won't go. But they weren't planning on going anyway. What it's really telling the looters and bad guys is, we've caught 20 of you, but there's probably hundreds of you that have gotten away with stuff. So they're not even afraid of going out there and taking their chances. What's interesting is we're probably going to hear at least a handful of stories about looters that, they found charred remains of their body, because some of them are probably going to get overtaken by the flames. But at the same time, you know as well as I do, they're all validating it by saying, if I don't take this property, it's just going to burn to the ground. So sometimes we're up against a wall, aren't we, Venters? Where we totally don't want bad guys doing bad things, but at the same time, my God, if you found somebody's wallet on the ground and a fire's coming, heck, you might as well pick up that wallet. You might as well pick up that wallet. What disappoints me is really the overall theme that we live in a country where we're okay with doing bad stuff. These people are thinking, how can I get a hold of that rich people's stuff and sell it and make money off it? And you can blame that on the economy. California is expensive and people are broke. They want to get ahead. But no matter how you look at it, it sucks. By the way, in case you're wondering, I'm not going to lose sleep over this. It does upset me because as a good person that doesn't look to steal and tries to make the right decisions in life, it should bother me. But at the same time, we talk a lot about people that are heinous criminals, and I just don't know if I want to put the guy that goes into a home to steal stuff before the fire burns it down. I just don't know if I want to put him in the same category as, somebody that touches kids or somebody that, you know, hurts people that are, you know, vulnerable, or takes people's lives. Tell me if you guys agree with me or not. These people are scummy that are doing this, but they're not, you know, they're not murderers or anything. It is really despicable. Mr. Winston says, Mr. Winston _ the pug says, offended by everything, accountable for nothing. They have no problem telling certain members of the public how backwards they are, but then at the same time, they rule and lead in such a backwards way. So backwards, guys. The country we live in is really backwards. And the fact that there's 2 states, New York and LA, that every year they're going to vote for the Democratic president regardless. Oh my God, it's just like always knowing that you're a couple votes away from, you know, the Bidens of the world getting into the office. But then again, like I said, if everyone votes Republican, pretty soon the Democrats will just invade the Republican Party and change the party from within. So you're literally damned if you do and damned if you don't. I don't know if you guys can tell. Not a big fan of the Democrats at all. Jesse, we used to not be able to tell. You were so even keel. Well, you know what? When you go through life and you start to see how certain people don't really try in the world, certain people point fingers in the world, and then those people are constantly rewarded by leadership, it is irritating. What does that do to people like you and me that want to try to do right and good things in the world? It really kicks us in the ass. I wish that bad people would have so much reasons to not be bad. Hey, if I'm bad, I'm going to go to jail for 20 years and there is no getting out early. Hey, if I take someone's life, they're going to take my life. These are things that if they were in place, people would actually think twice about committing the crimes that they do. Gosh, I just have a feeling in 4 more years, Arizona's going to vote purple and blue, and I think red is going to be a thing of the past, and your neighbors here in Phoenix are going to be like, hey, I moved out from California when our house burnt down. We're voting for the Democrat candidate. You know, I can already feel it. Cattle Rancher 863 says, yeah, it's a crisis. Your governor got rid of the water. Now, I heard President Trump talking about this, and when President Trump talks, let's be honest, he sounds like 3 times the leader that President Biden sounds like. President Trump lets you know Gavin Newsom picks fish over the people. Gavin Newsom is the first one to hop on a plane and go take a vacation while his state is falling apart. The mayor of California is literally on a vacation in Ghana. How about you tell the folks in Ghana you've got to get on a plane and you've got to make it back to your home state because you've got some work to do. Duh. Just for fun, I should play Democrat Jesse. I'm going to play Democrat Jesse for the rest of the walk. Maybe it'll be a fun turning point in Walk Talk Vent. I don't even know how to argue as a Democrat anymore. I used to be a Democrat like when I was in high school. It wasn't that I voted Democrat, it's just I thought Bill Clinton was the coolest guy. You know, he didn't need to be with Mrs. Clinton. He was with Monica Lewinsky, and Monica Lewinsky, did you see the rack on her? Oh my God, how adorable. My God, how stupid was I, right? We don't want things to be normal. We want a president in there that thinks with the wrong head and makes personal decisions instead of what's best for the country. I'm a Democrat now. We hate Orange Man. Orange Man, bad. God, if you even ask a Democrat, what does your side stand for? Orange Man, bad. That's literally all they say. Oh my God. Every time they open their mouth, someone should just stick a napkin in there like, hush, damn it, hush. Jesse, you're a horrible Democrat. I know. It's like I don't even know how to argue on their side. It's so off. Okay, here, I'll try. At Lord's Watchman says, do the looters get a $900 limit? No, they get a $999 limit. And what do you care? It's not your property. Why do you care so much about people's properties in California when you live in Utah? Mr. White Guy? When you live in Nebraska, Mr. Redneck, why do you care so much about the Californian losing their fire? And what's it matter to you if somebody goes in there and steals an end table because they want to use it rather than watching the fire burn it? Sandy DD5JZ says people no longer have any shame or dignity. What is it with you and property that doesn't belong to you? If somebody wants to go into a house that's on fire and steal some precious jewelry, what does that have to do with you? Why don't you mind your own business, go right back to your cushy meal with your cushy family there in middle of the world, Kansas, and why don't you mind your own business? This isn't affecting you. Doesn't that sound about right? I am a good Democrat today. I'm in a real good mood today. I had a great day at work. Work is interesting. For those of us that work, do you agree with me when I say that if you have a busy day at work, lazy people shy away from busyness and from work, right? But if you have a hard day at work where you're just constantly doing something work-related, your 8-hour day feels like 3 hours, just goes by like that. When you're having one of those slow, lazy, laid back, I don't want to work very hard days, those days seem to last 8, 9, 10 hours. They're 8 hours, but they seem to last the whole 8, 9, 10 hours. If you're working hard, they go by quick. Can I get an amen? I love walking. Walking just energizes me. Even if I went for a 3-hour walk with you guys, it wouldn't feel like 3 hours to me. Walking is one of those things where every now and then I look back and I say, look how far I've come. That's what's so cool about walking. Did I ever tell you guys about Kaizen? Kaizen is the idea that one step at a time, and it can even be a baby step. But if you keep walking one step at a time, eventually you're going to really go through quite a long distance. Little tiny steps can lead to explosive results. So even though you're listening to Jesse bitch, moan, and complain again about the Democrats, the moral of this walk is that if you walk with me while I'm bitching and moaning, you're actually going to start losing weight. When you lose weight, you're naturally going to start saving money. Why? Because you're not going to be trying to buy Coca-Cola every 5 minutes, and you're not going to be thinking about something to eat all the time. And when you're on your walk, if you have a financial problem, you can actually jump into your think tank and come up with a pretty good idea to get out of debt. And if instead of shopping all the time, you actually made a goal to pay off your bills, pretty soon you're going to be debt-free. And if all of a sudden you're making good money, you start to own your car instead of making payments on it. You start to own your house instead of making payments on it. You start to do things the right way. And pretty soon all those little baby steps leads to you being a halfway successful human being. And that's why you want to be a venter. So here's my challenge to you. You don't have to listen to me bitch and moan and complain anymore, but I want you to do some extra credit. Pretend like your walk just started and take another 20 or 30 minute walk, and then tell me about it down in the comments. And I'll see you tomorrow.